The biggest event for this week is obviously the upcoming solar eclipse in Leo. And for this weekly forecast, I'll take you through your rising sign, what to leave behind and what to be open to receive in this beautiful portal of the eclipse. And also make sure to listen to my video from the other day about the eclipse in itself, where I dive a bit deeper into the heart energy of Leo and what this portal might mean for you. Particularly look back to August 2018 when we had a partial eclipse in Leo at 18 degrees, because there will be some similarities to back then, some chapters that will need closing, and at the same time it would be really helpful for you to journal a bit about fifth house matters, Leo matters, in regards to where you were at in life back in 2018. What kind of people did you have around? How did you find joy in life? Creativity, romance, also children might be relevant here, and everything related to how you enjoy life. It's very important to take a look with this beautiful eclipse portal into what have you outgrown and what is your heart calling you for. So let's dive right in for each of the rising signs, and afterwards you can choose to also listen for your sun sign and for your moon sign as well if you want a deeper dive. For you Aries risings, this solar eclipse will take place in your fifth house, the house that governs your joy, creativity, romance, and it's also the house of Dharma and the house of children. So look into what is this eclipse opening for you. What reality could it spiral you into that you might not even have thought about yet? Because the thing is, Leo is so connected to the heart energy, and the heart has a different kind of language than the mind. And around this time, there is a possibility for you to truly leave behind versions of yourself that was too focused on control or even what you thought you should be. Think about the groups, the communities that you take part of. Maybe some of them are obviously outdated by now. And look to the communities and the acquaintances that you keep because you have not thought that perhaps another kind of community would serve you better for your becoming, or maybe you find it scary that you haven't found your people yet. Those are the areas in which you will have the greatest luck to look into with this eclipse in Leo, because Leo wants you to take courageous steps to be your own leader, but be a leader not from your ego, but from your heart. I really cannot emphasize the heart energy enough for this portal. And don't be surprised if there are some unexpected opportunities coming your way once you surrender, once you dare to surrender to the fact that perhaps the way that you have enjoyed life up until now, the way that you have been in romance and creativity and in general how you find joy in life, perhaps that is not really resonating with you anymore, Aries rising. And be open to the possibility to invite in an entire new atmosphere for yourself, an entire new reality where you will be much more in your physical body and heart and knowing immediately what is right for you and what's not right for you. And because your fifth house is also connected on the axis to the 11th house, that will again also change your acquaintances, your communities, the groups that you take part of. And eventually it will also change the way that you receive the rewards from your 10th house matters, the work that you do, because perhaps in many ways for Aries rising, there could have been a very stagnant period going on for many years by now where you felt that you worked really hard, but you haven't really reaped the harvest from that. And once you can change the frequency into Leo matters, you will see that the great rewards from the 10th house will emanate into your 11th house, and you will start to gain a broader community around you. You will be more visible. People would want to hear what you have to say, and you will see that it is a bit like a snowball effect. And that's what the eclipse is wonderful for, because it is a portal opening to spiral yourself into a complete different reality. The only thing that you need to do is to make sure to ground yourself into your body, into your heart, and you will experience a great change around this time. So that's what I have for you, my Aries risings, and you can also listen for your sun sign and your moon sign as well. And I hope to catch you in another video. For you, Taurus rising, you will be feeling this solar eclipse very strongly in regards to your 4th house. So your 4th house is all about your roots, your ancestry, your family environment, and particularly also your mother line. There might be some themes around how you nourish yourself, how you create stability and a safe home, and a feeling of being nurtured in general in life. There are really strong family connotations around this lunation as well. So some questions that could be helpful for you to ask yourself during this week is, what is a safe and nourishing home for me? You know, home can be a physical thing, but it's also very much the home that we have within ourselves. With Leo energy strongly being emphasized here for you, try to see if you can give yourself some time throughout this week to center yourself and ask your heart, what do I truly desire in regards to my home life? What do I need in my life to perhaps function even better in my public life? Because the foundation of the 4th house is also the foundation of your 10th house. So if you have been experiencing delays or obstacles in your career or your chosen career path for a long time, don't be surprised that if you are able to change your home environment so that it feels more in alignment with who you are, there will also be changes in your career on the other side of this eclipse portal. And a good exercise for you is to take some time as well to feel into your emotions. I know this sometimes can be difficult because we are not taught how to manage our emotions in a healthy way, but having Leo here is all about your heart energy, and to ask yourself the questions, when do I feel the most joyful? When do I feel the most creative and inspired and alive? Just for the sake of being alive, not because I need to be something for other people, not because I need to show that I'm a good this or that, or that I'm really brilliant with creativity. None of those things. The things that gives you genuine joy in life just because. It can be giving yourself the time to look at a sunrise or sunset this week, giving yourself the time to just sit and breathe and use your eyes and integrate, a grateful, I am grateful for this. I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for the ability to have another chance of this day. Because every day that you wake up and you have a roof over your head, although you might feel perhaps in survival, you will see that if you manage to be in the present moment, particularly around this Leo portal, you will see that this is the moment you can create the life and home environment and safety, both within yourself and then later on in your physical surroundings as well. So if you are feeling called to perhaps change homes, or that you know that you need to perhaps reach out to a family member you haven't spoken to for a while, or if there's something in the dynamics of the people close to you where you feel called to have some heartfelt conversations, this week will be really good for that. So those will be the highlights for you, Taurus rising. If you want to go even deeper, you can also choose to listen for your sun sign. And for your moon sign, particularly around your emotions. That might be an interesting one as well for you, Taurus rising. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to catch you in another video. For you, Gemini rising, this week is holding a strong emphasis on your third house, because you will experience the solar eclipse right on your third house in Leo. So there might be things in regards to your neighborhood, the place where you live, in regards to siblings, and your general communication style that is going to be highlighted and perhaps even completely reformed throughout this week. So it might be that in this week you start to realize that the way that you have been communicating, whether it's in your writing, the way that you speak up, or maybe even the way that you think, because this is also very strong mental energy, that you have a feeling that something is truly changing in your perception, in how you need to express yourself, how you even would describe your world around you. So let's say that you're someone that usually journals a lot, or at least are very familiar with writing longer texts in your life. Just as an example, you will see that there's a strong calling starting this week around how can I be more heart-centered in the way that I communicate, both in how I speak to myself, how I think about myself, how I perceive the world, and also how I act in my most immediate environment, the people around me in my neighborhood. How do I communicate with them? How do I show up? There will be the strong sense of a need for tapping into your heart and the wisdom of your heart, and seeing if the way that you have been thinking about certain things in your life, perhaps some limitations, perhaps some old habits about overthinking and staying much in your head, those areas of life with the eclipse has a wonderful opportunity for this week to really be reformed, to really be changed. And we always say that whenever we have a solar eclipse, particularly one that is a full solar eclipse, it works like a channel. So I want you to think that there is a channel right now in your life where when you can let go and close an old door, there will immediately be a new door appearing. But before you have chosen to close that old door, you will not be able to see the new one. So really don't miss this opportunity for you, Gemini rising, because this could very well be a foundation for you to have a complete change of mind, a complete change of how you both again speak to yourself and the people around you, unfolding for the next 6 months, because the eclipse window is not only a centered piece of time, it is more of a portal into the next version of you, into the next reality. And if there's something truly forming our reality, it is how we think and the beliefs that we hold. And I also would invite you to strongly consider, because your third house is affected and working around your ninth house axis as well, which is around higher education and belief system, perhaps spirituality, philosophy. I would invite you to consider if there's anything that you have believed for a long time that you might have outgrown, or an area where your belief system has become quite rigid in some sense. Because if that's the case, now you can start to question it. And as soon as you question your reality, that's when it starts to change. But you cannot really make the change before you catch yourself and you see, oh, I have some thought patterns around that I'm not, and you can put in whatever it might be. It can be anything, just to take an example, that I'm not good enough for this thing, that this door will never open in my life. How do you define yourself? How do you speak to yourself in daily life? And what belief is hidden behind your thought patterns? So this is what I have for you, Gemini risings, if you want a fuller picture, you can also choose to listen for your sun sign and your moon sign as well. And I wish you a beautiful week. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I catch you in another video. For you, Cancer rising, this is going to be a very transformative week in regards to your second house matters. And this is because we have an eclipse, a full solar eclipse happening in your second house with Leo. And the second house is going to challenge you in regards to questions around your self-worth. Because the interesting part about the second house, and the most overlooked part about the second house, is that we always think that it has to do with our money, our possessions, our material wealth. But the entire foundation of the second house is basically about our self-worth. Because if we do not feel worthy in life, the way that we earn money, the way that we hold on to possessions or achieve possessions and material wealth, will one way or another not be very harmonized. So the theme for you in this week is to utilize this strong energy from the total solar eclipse to ask your heart to because Leo is the heart energy. So now you have the opportunity to bring in a strong heart-centered energy around your second house and really take a solid, sober look at what have I been doing up until now in regards to my self-worth and how I earn money, how I hold on or leave possessions that is no longer working for me. There could be themes of having self-destructive patterns or working against yourself because you might have experienced throughout your relationship to material wealth or the lack thereof that you have connected it so much to your worth and your sense of self that those are now somehow intertwined in a way that you could reform. So that could look very much like, let's say you earn good money, but you're always anxious about it. This is an opportunity for you to feel good about, to change that and feel more safe and stable in yourself. Or let's say that for years and years, you have not managed to, get the desired outcome when it comes to material wealth. And perhaps now is the opportunity to ask yourself, how can I first focus on my own sense of worth and then trust that from a heart-centered position, I will be able to bring into life whatever I desire in physical form. Again, I mention this over and over again, but when we have this beautiful portal of Leo energy, there's a new revolution that is happening in our entire collective in regards to waking up to the sense that our heart holds a wisdom that we just cannot access by our minds alone. So one of the things that you can journal about or reflect on in this week and will greatly benefit from is, what is your connection with yourself and your sense of worth, and where in your early upbringing did you shape this belief, because that's very often where it comes from. And you can even go further, and because the second house is very connected to the fourth house as well, so ask yourself, am I capable of feeling enough and worthy in my current setting, no matter how my physical surroundings and possessions looks like? Those will be big questions for you to perhaps reflect a little bit over for you, Cancer rising. And if you want a fuller picture, you can also choose to listen for your sun sign. If you want your emotional perspective, you can listen for your moon sign as well. And this is what I have for you this week. So have a beautiful solar eclipse, and remember to be kind and good to yourself and your heart. There are some strong energies at stake right now, so trust the process. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I catch you in another video. For you, Leo rising, you are the star of this week. This will be felt really strongly for you in regards to your first house, obviously. So that's your sense of your personality, what you look like, how you carry yourself throughout life, everything that is related to I am, the areas in life where you have to remember to put yourself first and know that this is the center for everything else in your life. The first house is the foundation for all the other houses as well. So, Leo rising, you will be experiencing a very strong full solar eclipse in your first house this week on the 12th of August. And this will be a portal that most likely can spiral you into a reality of complete transformation throughout the next 6 months of your life. So Leo energy is all about heart-centered actions, the ability to listen to your heart, to embrace the joyful sides of life. It's about your creativity. It's also the house for Leo is naturally in the 5th house, but the 5th house, when we connect it to your first house, there's a question about your sense of self, your personality in regards to creativity, to joy, to your dharma, to perhaps even children for some of you. There could be some questions around, children in your life or having children or not. There could be a sense of calling from your heart into a sort of awakening to your higher dharma. It could be something that has been stirring in the background for quite a while for you, a sensation that you are changing, a sensation that your surroundings are changing because you are, and that you're starting to see a different level of reality unfolding for you. And so with this eclipse, it's very important that you ground yourself into your body, into your heart. And some of the questions throughout this week that can be very helpful for you to ask yourself is that, am I allowing myself to have enough joy in my life? Am I allowing myself to express my joyfulness and have my voice heard? Am I allowing myself to be seen? It could even be small things like you feel called to change the clothing that you wear. Maybe you want to have a different style. Maybe you feel like you want to change your hair or do something for yourself that is also affecting your physical looks. This is not uncommon when you have a solar eclipse happening in your first house as well. And also ask yourself if there are areas in life where you have not allowed yourself to shine to the extent that you know you're supposed to shine. Because the thing about this Leo energy is that usually there's a stereotype about Leo wants to be on the stage and center of everything, but that's such a simplification, and it doesn't really truly apply, specifically not when you are Leo rising. For you, it's more about being, a proud, in the most positive sense of the word, proud in what you do, taking pride in how you treat the people around you, taking pride in how you choose to carry yourself out in this life, how other people see you. Make yourself visible this week, because there will be a great chance that you can run into some very important people and connections in this week of your life. The eclipses have a tendency to truly be portals into new levels of reality. So take this opportunity to feel into your heart of what do I truly desire based on what brings you happiness and joy in your life. Life is it's allowed for you to shine and have a good time and get everything that you desire at the same time. And also because your first house works around your 7th house axis as well. If you're someone that looks for love and you want to find a committed relationship, know that in this period of time that the more you pour into yourself and learn to love yourself, the more likely you will be to meet a stable and loving and soulful partner as well. So this is the this is the essence of this week. It's highly romantic for you as well. There can be almost a dreamy sense of things falling into place throughout this week. And if you want a fuller picture, you can also listen for your sun sign and for your moon sign as well. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this channel, and I hope to catch you in another video. For you, Virgo rising, so the biggest event for this week is on the 12th of August. We have the solar eclipse happening in Leo at 20 degrees. So you have Leo in your 12th house. This week will feel a bit like there's something in the background that is falling into place, because the 12th house is governing our dreams, hidden institutions, our unconscious mind, and what is usually not so available to us. So a good thing for you, Virgo rising, would be to use this eclipse portal to get more clear on all the unconscious patterns and habits that might be blocking you from moving ahead in regards to your desires, your dreams, where you want to go next in life. Leo brings in this very heart-opening energy, but because it's happening around your 12th house, you could feel that it's almost emanating in the background. And this is a subtle energy, meaning that you will need to utilize it consciously in order to gain the benefits from it. So one of the things that could manifest throughout this eclipse window for you, so remember, it's not only on that one day that the eclipse is happening, it is unfolding over the next 6 months. But what I would say for you is that you really have the opportunity to break habits, addictions, and self-destructive behavior that has been blocking you from moving ahead. Particularly when we look to Venus transiting your second house right now, you have Libra in your second house. The second house is all about your material possessions, and it's also about your sense of self. So could there be a theme here right now about tapping into what subconscious blockages is holding you away from gaining the wealth, the sense of self-worth that you wish you had, or that you might have been struggling with for a long period of time? It could even be that you did reach all the goals, you do have all the material possessions, and yet you do not feel happy about it, because you have this inner sense of not being worthy or having to constantly work for it to keep it. So those are the things this week that you can work on, and that you will feel maybe even called to focus a bit on. Some of the questions you can ask yourself is that, if I take an honest, compassionate look at myself, do I have any daily habits that are self-destructive in a subtle way? Am I doing things that I know is not good for me? Am I having any form of addictions in my life that is keeping me away from my true dreams? And addictions can come out in many different forms. It doesn't have to be hard substances. It can be addictions to your phone, addictions to approval from other people, addictions to all the kind of wrong love, addictions to putting yourself down, addictions to feeling just sad or depressed. Because the thing is, and regarding, self-worth in the second house, the thing is that the brain gets very much attached to the emotions that you experience most throughout your day. So even if that is sadness or depression or something that is not necessarily very nice to experience, the brain has a certain addiction to it, and that is pure chemicals. But having the Leo portal in your 12th house gives you a beautiful moment in time where you can access those subconscious and unconscious patterns and sort of take them by the root. And I think this opportunity can feel as if it has been going on in the background for quite a while for you, Virgo risings, but you just couldn't quite grasp it. Because again, the 12th house is hidden for us. So that's what I would be focusing on for this week for you, Virgo rising. If you want a fuller picture as well, you can take a look at your sun sign and your moon sign for your emotions as well. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I hope to catch you in another video. Bye for now. For you, Libra rising, the biggest event in this week that will influence you the most is that we have the solar eclipse in Leo, which will be affecting your 11th house. You will feel a change in regards to your community, the kind of friend groups that you participate in, and also your long-term goals. Leo is opening up this portal for you at the moment, for you to really tap into what does it mean to lead my life from my heart? And are there any people, acquaintances, communities around me right now that are not in alignment with my future vision, the person that I wish to become, that I'm working on becoming? Because that would be crystal clear for you around this eclipse portal. And then at the same time, you have Venus transiting your first house. So there is a question in regards to sense, how you treat yourself, how you love yourself, how you value yourself, and how you show up in your community. So let's say that you're someone, perhaps you have tendencies to be a people pleaser, and that is how you have become quite popular in your community, but you know that that side of you is not really feeling good at the end of the day, because you are extending all your energetic field to accommodate everyone else but yourself. Now this eclipse season is asking you, if I stop being a people pleaser, what kind of communities, acquaintances, and long-term goals could I achieve instead of where I am right now? It could also just be something as simple as you find yourself to be less kind to yourself than you are of everyone else. Maybe you're someone highly critical of your own self or your appearance, and now Leo is giving you this opportunity to have your communities as a mirror for your sense of self. So spend this week to reflect a little bit over, how am I showing up in my communities? How are the people that I'm meeting there, my acquaintances, my bigger groups of friends, how are they mirroring back sides of myself that either I have outgrown or don't feel comfortable in anymore? And if you have already attracted new acquaintances, new friend groups, new communities into your life, ask what is the difference between those communities versus the communities you used to be a part of, and try to ask yourself this question: if I truly and fully loved myself, would I still be with these people? Would I still show up like this? Because Leo is asking us to take courageous leadership from our hearts. Not the kind of leadership that is dominating or controlling other people. Quite the opposite. It's the kind of leadership that radiates out from our sense of self and the love that we have for ourselves. And once we learn how to fill our own cup, that's also how we can be there more for the people around us. So this week is highly asking you, Libra rising, to how can you show up in a version of you that is leaving behind people-pleasing tendencies, overthinking, criticism of self, the feeling that you are not worthy for love just because you exist. And how can you step into a reality where you just become that person? And a good exercise for you to do this week is to show yourself in public. Go out, sit at your favorite coffee shop, walk a street where you know you meet people, go to the grocery store, and try to feel what it feels like to meet the world with love, to meet the world from your heart, and see the reactions that you get from other people when you are the one that smiles first. So this is what I have for you, Libra rising. You can also choose to listen for your sun sign, and if you want to have some emotional insights, you can listen to your moon sign as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I catch you in another video. Have a wonderful week. For you, Scorpio rising, the biggest event of this week is obviously the solar eclipse that we have in Leo at 20 degrees. So do take a look at your personal birth chart and see if you have any planets or placements around 20 degrees within the range of a 5-degree orb, because those will be elements that will be highly activated for you right now. And you have Leo in your 10th house, the house of your career and public life, which is also the house of your legacy and what you choose to build in your public life. So I would say that this solar eclipse can definitely bring in, for many of you, considerations around your career path, your devotion to your work, and what you wish to leave behind you as a legacy, what you wish to build long term. And it could manifest in many different ways, but depending obviously on your personal situation. Even if you are retired, this will have a big influence on you anyway. Because what Leo does is that Leo activates our heart energy. Leo wants us to make decisions that feels right to the heart, to the soul, and not necessarily what can be rationally explained. And this activation, so remember this, whenever we have eclipses, they are playing out and working in our life 6 months ahead. So it's not that it's just this week that, everything changes. No, it's a broader event in regards to your career path and some decisions that you might need to make in order to feel that you are on the right path in life. If you're someone who have felt a bit lost or perhaps not knowing what you are passionate about, you can have quite a good deal of luck with finding and tuning into anything that has been blocking you from perhaps admitting what it is that you truly want, because you might have had some limited beliefs or some programming of your mind that has constantly told you this is not possible. It's a time to harness that dreamy energy, creative energy, and joyful energy of Leo and bring it into your 10th house and rise in your vocation. You will also have a great deal of luck. Let's say you have worked a job for a long time and you're seeking a promotion. This will be a good time to ask for that as well. It will also be a good time to take on more responsibility in relation to your qualities and what you're capable of, because you will be seen when you have Leo solar eclipse in this 10th house. Maybe you have felt invisible in some areas and now suddenly people can actually see what you're doing. This is also in regards to, let's say you are an entrepreneur or you own your own business. This week is a wonderful time to focus on promotion of yourself, making people know that you exist, perhaps challenging the way that you show up and show yourself. A lot of people do not only have a fear of failing, but also a fear of success. And if that's you, this is a wonderful time to challenge that, to challenge how good can it get when I allow people to see me, when I allow myself to shine. Another thing for you as well is that right now we have Venus transiting your 12th house. So Venus brings it in compassion and love and beauty, and the 12th house is our unconscious, our dreams, the things that we usually cannot access that easily. And when you have Venus here alongside a solar eclipse in your 10th house, there is a great possibility, an opportunity for you to once and for all put light on those subconscious beliefs that keeps you small. So if there are areas in your life where you have felt frustration and you feel that you have been stagnant for quite a while, or you simply just can't feel yourself and you don't know what next step to take, Venus is here to help you tap into the love for life, the joy for life, and helping you overcome those subconscious patterns. So a good exercise for you in this week, if you are a Scorpio rising, would be to take the chance to show up in your public life in a way that you haven't before. It could be either asking for a promotion, or if you have your own business, try to market yourself in a different way. Try to reach out to people and things and anything that you might think, oh, that's out of my league, but try to take a really courageous, bold move and reach the hand out and build the bridge to the connections in your career life that you wish to bring in, because you could have a great deal of luck with doing so in this week. And finally, I would say, if you want a fuller picture, you can also choose to listen for your sun sign and your moon sign for your emotional side as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I wish you a wonderful week. Sagittarius rising, this is quite a big week for you. You have your fellow fire sign, Leo, in a solar eclipse at 20 degrees happening in your 9th house this week, meaning that there are some things in relation to your 9th house matters, which is higher education, spirituality, philosophy, the beliefs that you hold around your own world and the world in general, and also long distance travel, relocation. So there might be some themes that Leo brings in. So whenever we have a solar eclipse happening in Leo, there's a portal into our hearts that is opening up. And you are already very familiar with this energy. You are a fire sign, you know the adventurous spirit, you know the joyful spirit, you know what it's like to be on the road and feeling that things are aligning for you. At least this is what your soul is built for. So you might feel that this week is bringing you a new, joyful and adventurous atmosphere. And it could be that in the background for quite a while you felt called to a certain country, culture. Maybe you felt a need to change your work life, to try something new, to perhaps you feel called to go on a spiritual journey of some sort, meaning maybe you want to be a yoga teacher, maybe you want to take some sort of ancient knowledge and be a practitioner of that sort. And this is a wonderful week to really take the steps that will align you to such path. It could also be that there is a specific travel or place in the world that has been calling you for a longer time, and maybe you have been holding yourself back. You're thinking, oh, I don't have the finances, I don't have the time to go. Well, now is a time to revision that, to see what obstacles do I need to overcome in order to make that happen. This eclipse is quite strong because it's a full eclipse. It's not partial. And whenever we have full eclipses, they are really portals into complete different realities, meaning you need to close the door behind you before you will be able to see the new door ahead. And that might be the most difficult part for you. Another element for this week, Sagittarius rising, is that you have Venus transiting your 11th house. Your 11th house is all about your acquaintances, your communities, your broader friendship groups, your long-term visions for life. The visions you have that are a little bit more humanitarian. And Venus here brings in a lot of love, a lot of abundance and beauty to those areas. So when we combine the fact that you have a solar eclipse happening in your 9th house with Venus transiting your 11th house, could it be that you have a calling to pursue a new kind of community or participate in some sort of cultural institution, or perhaps change your field of work? And those things would be really big questions to consider for this week, and you have quite a great deal of luck in making the intentions and taking actions towards that. So an example could be that maybe there is a place you always wanted to go. Let's say you're an artist and you know that in a specific country there's a residency and there's an application deadline. This week, if I were you, I would make that application, because that will be infused with the luck, first of all, of Jupiter staying here in your 9th house for well into next summer. And then at the same time, having the solar eclipse happening here could really be the portal for you to have a great deal of luck in gaining things such as residencies, art grants, or even if you are someone who works for an NGO, or you're someone that just needs a starting grant for a new adventure, a new, let's say, enterprise, you will have a great deal of luck of making such applications for this week as well. I would also say on a personal level, how this could manifest for some of you is that if you have had any belief systems or things that you have been practicing in regards to philosophy or spirituality that you feel have become quite rigid or you have outgrown them, now is a wonderful time to leave them in the past and accept that sometimes in life, even though we could have spent a lot of time practicing one belief or something could have been good for us in a period of time, it doesn't mean that it needs to be forever. And to reach that level of understanding also allows you to be open to something new, a fresh horizon, a fresh insight, a new way of doing things. So those will be the main themes for you. Sagittarius rising, you can also listen to your sun sign and your moon sign as well for a broader picture of this week. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And have a wonderful week, and I catch you in another video. Capricorn rising, so the biggest event for you this week would definitely be the solar eclipse that we experience in Leo at 20 degrees. So check out if you have any planets or placement at 20 degrees in your personal birth chart, because if you do, all of those will be quite important for you as well. But in general, you will experience this eclipse over your 8th house. And you already have Jupiter transiting your 8th house well into next summer. So whenever we have solar eclipses, full one as these ones, there is a door closing before we can open another door. And Leo are always asking us to lead from the heart, to be courageous, to take bold moves in the direction of our hearts. You know how we always learn to rationalize everything and to think in the quote-unquote smart solutions. Well, Leo doesn't want us to work that way. Leo wants us to ask what feels good in my body, what feels good to my soul and to my heart. And sometimes that language takes a little longer, particularly because for you have the eclipse happening in your 8th house, which is a hidden house alongside the 12th in astrology. So one thing that stands out for me for you this week is that the 8th house governs transformation. And transformation also means that sometimes we need to let parts of ourselves stay in the past so that we can enter the future, instead of just an endless loop of repetition from what we already do. The 8th house also governs, money matters, the money from other people, such as inheritances. And if you have a partner and you have some assets together, those will also be here. And it also is in regards to taxes. So one thing that I would check if I were you for this week, Capricorn rising, is to check in and see if there are any moves that you can take in regards to your financial matters, your taxes, your property, what you own, particularly the one that might be intertwined with a partner or family, and see if those agreements are still healthy and in alignment with your heart. Because you might have an opportunity here also with Jupiter to see some things financially that you couldn't access before. So let's say that there could be tax opportunities that you haven't known about, and they could actually help you to gain whatever more per year of annual revenue. It could also be that you discover that you have a loan that could be renewed right now that would be more beneficial for you. And if you have any intertwinements with a partner, spouse, family members, or arrangements in regards to inheritance, take a proper look at it this week and go over the papers, particularly the ones that are written in small letters, and see if there's anything that you have missed, because you might as well have a great deal of luck actually this week in seeing everything that was hidden for you before in regards to those matters, and therefore also extract a more positive outcome. Another thing that I would pay attention to is that you have Venus transiting your 10th house, which is the house of career, your public life, also the legacy that you leave behind. So even if you are retired, you can look at this house as what you choose to build long term, how you show up in your public life. And with Venus here, and Venus working together with Leo in this eclipse season, is giving you an opportunity to look at if you have any wishes for changing your career, your path. If there's something that calls you that feels more in alignment with you, is a good time to make a revision for that as well. And you will also have a great deal of luck in looking into any subconscious patterns that might be blocking you from taking more courageous steps in your career and what you truly wish to pursue. And it will be a great week to also re-evaluate your values in regards to the things that you share with other people. And finally, you could have a great deal of luck with, for instance, let's say you have a therapy session this week, or hypnosis, or anything where you're working psychologically on yourself. You could have a great deal of breakthroughs in this week, and I would highly suggest you to keep a journal on you. And if you have any dreams in the nights, or you have any new thoughts coming in, even if it's just in fragments, try to take note of those, because it might as well be your future self calling you into a direction that you could not see before. So those are the themes for you, Capricorn rising, this week. You can also listen for your sun sign and for your moon sign as well for a deeper analysis. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I wish you a wonderful week. For you, Aquarius rising, the biggest event of this week is obviously the solar eclipse happening at 20 degrees in Leo. And this solar eclipse will be affecting your 7th house, because this is where Leo is residing for you. So the 7th house, there will be some questions for you in regards to friendships, the people that you have closest to you, your romantic partner, your spouse if you're married, your significant person that you're with. And because Leo is asking us to make really bold, courageous moves from our hearts, this could be a wonderful time for you to have some heartfelt conversations with the people closest to you. Also a great time for you to revisit contracts you might have signed to see if they are still in your highest alignment, if they are still aligned with the direction in which you're going, and if they still feel as if they are something that you want to dedicate yourself to. The thing is that you also have Jupiter transiting your 7th house well into next summer. So all of this Leo energy happening for you in your house of marriage is quite significant, and you will be feeling it around this eclipse as well, because the eclipses are not, a one standalone event. It's more of a portal spiral you into the next step of your evolution for 6 months ahead. So whatever you initiate in this week will be very important in regards to your own personal development for the next 6 months, particularly in regards to how do you show up in romantic relationships, how do you show up in close friendships. And remember, when you have your 7th house, it is on the axis to your 1st house as well. So the energy and the connection here will be very much in regards to your personality and your own sense of self. So make a revision of what friendships are in alignment with your heart. Do you need to have any courageous and heartfelt conversations with anyone close to you? Are there any friendships that you need to reconsider whether they should stay in your life or not? Particularly in regards to the way that you are moving around in this world. Because when you have Pluto as well, transiting for a very long time, your 1st house, Aquarius rising, anything that are not serving your higher evolution will need to fall apart. And you might as well just be proactive in this area of life. So whenever you feel something is out of resonance with you, a good practice to begin particularly with this eclipse is to just take note of it, write it down, get it out of your head. Don't over-mentalize it, don't over-analyze it, don't try to be the good person, don't try to be the diplomat, don't try to debate yourself, but instead ask your heart. Good questions to ask yourself this week is, what would a person who truly loved themselves do in this situation? And would a person who truly loves themselves stay with this insert whatever, with this romantic partner, or in this friendship, or in this partner businessship as well? Because these are the things that Leo is asking you to upgrade in the solar eclipse. And finally, I would really highly recommend for you to go on a little time journey back to August of 2018, because that was the last time we had a similar eclipse in Leo. And there might have been some themes back then from your romantic life, people around you, how you express yourself creatively, how you have joy and bring in joy in your everyday life, that might need to come to an end. So let's say you had friendships or acquaintances or just a view on romance from back then that you see are still visible in your daily life. Now it might be a time to close that door, because a new one cannot open before you have definitively chosen to close the old ones. So this is what I have for you, Aquarius rising, for this week. And you can also choose to listen for your sun sign and your moon sign as well if you want a deeper analysis. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I wish you a wonderful week. Welcome, Pisces rising. So the biggest event shaping the entire atmosphere for this week is the full solar eclipse in Leo at 20 degrees. So if you have anything in your chart, any planets, any placements around 20 degrees, it is worth looking into as well, as they will be highly activated. But first and foremost, this eclipse will take place in your 6th house. And your 6th house is all about your day-to-day life. It's about your daily work, the things that we repeat, such as habits of needing to brush our teeth and, get to work, get things done. But it's also the house of health. So there might be something in regards to your health habits, the way that you treat your body, the way that you incorporate daily habits that are sustainable for your physical wealth, that needs to be revisioned here. Whenever we experience a full solar eclipse, it is that sense of a door being fully closed. So in order for you to open the next door, the next chapter, you need to be very considerate about what is it that you're closing. And you have a lot of opportunity here for closing out chapters of any sense of dis-ease in your body. If you have been struggling with anything health related, now is a time to really use the intelligence of your heart to get some answers on what's going on. And I can highly recommend you to read the book The Body Keeps the Score, which is basically all about how accumulated stress, memories, trauma stores in our body cells and can create quite a lot of diseases later on in life, because you also have Jupiter transiting your sixth house well into the summer next year. And this is a fire element, meaning that if you have anything in regards to tendencies of inflammation in your body, if you have a tendency to, it could be that you're an athlete and you have injuries that are flaring up, now is a wonderful time to incorporate healthy habits in your daily life that will accumulate over time and feel very healing for you. This is not a time to make drastic moves in regards to changing your habits or your health. You will be more rewarded from heart-aligned actions. So let's say that around this week you get some insights around, wow, I never really listened to that side of myself, or you have a particularly memory coming up, or anything that your intuition is telling you that you should look at. Now is a wonderful time to make any appointments to a health practitioner, somatic workout, people who work with kinesiology, all of these things, because you can have quite a breakthrough in regards to your physical health and understanding what your body needs. It's also a great time to take a look at the supplements that you take on a daily basis and ask yourself if that's really needed. And I would also say, specifically, having all of this activation of your sixth house in fire elements, it's not a bad idea if you feel called to it, to get some acupuncture, particularly, TCM, Chinese, traditional Chinese practitioners who can make a proper analysis of the elements of your body. Maybe there are some dampness with all this fire, maybe there is some yang energy that needs to be balanced out. All of these things could be likely around this portal. So for this week, I would recommend for you to journal a bit about things related to your daily habits and your health. You can ask yourself questions of, when do I feel most vital in my body? When do I feel most alive? When am I feeling my body the most? Because that's also a theme, living in this world where we are very much only living from the mental space. But with Leo, the heart opener, he can really bring in an energy, a fire, a new passion in your life, a passion to take better care of yourself and your well-being. And finally, I would say that you have Venus transiting your 8th house. The 8th house is also one of the hidden houses alongside the 12th house in astrology. So there might be some subconscious patterns or something in your psychology that has been, building up over a longer period of time in regards perhaps to how you talk to yourself. If you are having kind thoughts, again, to your body, related to your physical health. Because now Venus can really bring in a bigger compassion for yourself and your inner psychology, how you work, which habits you have established and why. So take that opportunity in this week, Pisces rising. And if you want to have a fuller picture as well, you can also choose to listen to your sun sign and your moon sign. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And I wish you a wonderful week.